Good morning, readers. Well, today is release day for the next book in the Auntie Clem's Bakery series, a Waffle Death, book number 20 in the series. And as usual, I'm going to give you a reading from A Waffle Death. The warm morning sunshine spilled into the bakery and glinted off the glass of the display case at the front of Auntie Clem's bakery. Erin studied it to make sure that everything was in order. And of course it was. She and Vic had been doing this long enough to know how to arrange everything quickly and efficiently before opening the store in the morning. The baked goods she loved filled the case. Muffins with fat blueberries bursting out of the top, bread sprinkled with sugar, cinnamon rolls glinting with icing. The smell of yeast and spices perfumed the air. Erin walked through the front of the shop to turn the sign to open, and unlocked the door. A few morning customers were already waiting outside with their piping hot coffees, ready to pick up a morning muffin or the baked goods that they would require for the day or week. "Good morning," Erin greeted cheerfully. It was still early for the rest of the townspeople, so she didn't get enthusiastic smiles in response. A few muted greetings. People would be more cheerful once they finished waking up. Vic stood at the front counter, her long blonde hair pinned back in a bun and hidden by her baker's cap. Erin's young transgender employee always succeeded in looking more polished 5 minutes after rolling out of bed than Erin felt after an hour of preening and trying to pin her dark hair back so that no locks would escape. She never even reached the front door without a few strands managing to spring free. "What can I get y'all today?" Vic asked the ladies. Mary Lou moved forward and made a few selections, her baking for the week. Erin knew that things were tight for the Coxes. Mary Lou struggled to make ends meet. Her husband, Roger, had lost their life savings and house in a bad investment a few years previous, and since then the family had experienced a number of serious setbacks. Roger had been hospitalized for most of the past year, but was back home again, which was an added burden on Mary Lou financially, as well as physically and emotionally. She had one teenage son still at home to help with Roger's care, and healthcare workers that checked in a couple of times a day, but the lion's share of making sure that he was kept calm and happy and didn't wander still fell to her. Erin wanted to offer Mary Lou more of the day-old baking they gave to needy families for free, but knew that she couldn't say anything about it in front of the other ladies. Mary Lou knew she could come to the back of the store to pick up day-old privately, but she was a proud woman and would not accept Erin's charity unless Erin managed to frame it as a favor to her, something that she couldn't get away with very often. Mary Lou smoothed her wrinkle-free pantsuit over her hips as she waited for Vic to package up her order and to put it through the till. Erin slipped behind Vic to take up her position behind the counter to help the next customer. She smiled at Mary Lou. "How is everyone in your house today? Everyone okay?" Mary Lou gave a brief nod. "Yes, fine, thank you, Erin. And have you recovered from your—" Mary Lou trailed off and didn't say kidnapping or abduction. She probably would have preferred something more generic, like incident, but she just let the sentence hang. Erin could fill it in as she liked. "Oh yes," Erin told her cheerfully. "I'm just fine. Thanks to Joshua, I'm perfectly well." She kept a smile on her face, not letting Mary Lou see any cracks. Mary Lou didn't need anything else on her plate to worry about. Her son Joshua was the one who had rescued Erin, or at least found her so that the police could rescue her, and Erin knew that she couldn't say too much about what he had done. Mary Lou wanted to keep him safe. She didn't want him running around into dangerous situations, rescuing people. Let the police do the footwork. Joshua needed to be in school, earning his high school diploma, rather than pursuing a career as an investigative journalist before he was even an adult. But Joshua had other ideas about the matter. He would, Erin hoped, go back to school in the fall with Bella Prost and the other teens. Bella was one of Erin's part-time employees and for months had been gently encouraging Joshua to return to school. Erin hoped she succeeded. Mary Lou didn't need anything else to worry about, least of all the increased anxiety and nightmares that had plagued Erin since her abduction. It wasn't like she'd been the best sleeper before. It was a struggle to get the sleep that she needed to get to the bakery in the small hours of the morning, in order to have the fresh bread and muffins ready to go when they opened. Now that the wedding is over, you can go back to normal, Vic told Erin. No more wedding cake until the next one, she smiled cheerfully. Melissa's wedding cake had been a one-off, a favor for a friend. Erin had not planned on taking on more, but Vic thought it would make a good addition to the bakery's offerings if Erin were willing to take them on. Erin hadn't decided yet. There had been too much else going on at the same time as decorating Melissa's cake. She hadn't yet sorted out her feelings and separated the negative emotions about certain other events from that of preparing Melissa's beautiful wedding cake, which had ended up being crushed. At least Vic's creativity had saved the day, so that they'd still been able to pull off the fairy tale wedding reception that Melissa had dreamed of. "Did you get a thank you card yet?" Lottie Sturm asked the others in the bakery. "I haven't gotten a thank you for my wedding gift yet. When I was a young person, there were certain expectations." Erin actually had received a very nice thank you note from Melissa the week before, but she wasn't about to announce the fact to Lottie, as it would just encourage her complaints that Melissa hadn't sent her a card yet. Erin imagined that Melissa had sent notes to those who had helped with the reception before those who had given her a gift. It had been a big reception, so there'd be a lot of cards to send out. Melissa was probably attacking the process in small batches. Lottie would receive hers in the mail in the next few days. "It isn't like it was a real wedding," Cindy Prost contributed. Of course she would say something like that. Cindy was Bella's mother, and her natural disposition was the opposite of her daughter's cheerful, helpful attitude. Cindy was as negative as Bella was positive. "Of course it was a real wedding," Vic objected. "How could you say that?" "Well, there was no groom at the reception, was there?" Cindy pointed out the obvious. Davis, Melissa's new husband, was a guest of the Tennessee penal system and would not be going to any community events in the next few years. "But they still got married," Erin said, removing the bread and buns Lottie pointed to from the display case. "Davis doesn't have to attend the reception for the marriage to be legal." "I'm not talking about legal." Cindy wrinkled her nose. "And it isn't like any of us witnessed the actual marriage, if there even was one. All you have is her own word of that." "Why would she pretend to be getting married?" "Because she wants certain benefits of being married," Lottie tittered, "but without all the responsibilities of a wife." Erin opened her mouth to ask what benefits Lottie was talking about, then closed it again. As far as the church ladies were concerned, any extracurricular activities outside of marriage were a sin. So as far as Lottie was concerned, Melissa had to be married to Davis for her friendly visits to the prison to progress to conjugal visits. As far as Erin knew, Melissa probably believed this too, but they'd never discussed it. Why would they? Such a thing was none of Erin's business. But it was apparently the business of the rest of the members of Melissa's congregation in Bald Eagle Falls. Lottie and Cindy immediately fell into a spirited debate about whether Melissa was really married in the eyes of God if she wasn't living with Davis and keeping house for him. There was more to marriage than just visiting with Davis at the prison. Erin looked at Mary Lou to see what her opinion of the discussion was, but her mind appeared to be somewhere else. Erin wasn't sure she heard a word of Lottie's and Cindy's discussion. Erin wished that she could have blocked it out herself. She didn't look at Vic. All she would need was Vic rolling her eyes expressively, and she would not be able to keep a straight face, and would have to excuse herself to the kitchen to check on a batch of cookies. "Did you hear about the waffle contest?" Erin asked, in an effort to distract the ladies from the discussion about Melissa's intimate affairs. Lottie stopped talking and looked at Erin. There was silence in the bakery. "What waffle contest?" Vic answered obligingly, even though she knew very well what waffle contest Erin was talking about. "Yes, what contest?" Lottie asked. She didn't actually look at all interested. "There's a waffle recipe contest being run by the Kitchen Crew Commercial Bakeware Company. The grand prize is a restaurant-sized waffle maker that makes 20 Belgian waffles in one go." 20 waffles? "Yes, it has the molds for 20 waffles. You fill them all with batter, close the lid, and wait 5 minutes for them to cook. Open the lid and presto, 20 perfectly cooked waffles." "Are you planning to open a Waffle House?" Cindy asked dryly. "Don't you have enough to keep you going with the ownership of the bakery?" "I think waffles would be a great offering for Auntie Clem's, fresh or frozen. Wouldn't you rather buy waffles made right here in the bakery than those frozen ones at the grocery?" Vic asked. "Sometimes those have been sitting in the grocer's freezer for months. And they're just mass-produced and churned out, nothing like a hand-crafted waffle made from one of Erin's special recipes. Cindy looked as if she didn't know whether to agree or find something nasty to say about Erin's recipes. If she didn't want to get thrown out of the bakery, she should probably keep her mouth shut. "Have you already submitted a recipe to this contest?" she asked Erin stiffly. "I suppose you already have a dozen waffle recipes ready to go when you win that big waffle iron." "Not yet." Erin handed Lottie's order to Vic to ring up on the register. "You're only allowed to enter one recipe into the contest, and I'm still trying to design the perfect gluten-free waffle recipe. It has to be just right if I want to have any hope of winning the waffle iron." "It's never going to be exactly like a normal waffle." Cindy was not afraid to rain on Erin's parade. She never complained about the gluten-free baked goods she bought from Erin every week. They were delicious, and no one would ever have guessed that they were gluten-free unless they were told so. But Cindy was right. They would never have the exact same flavor and consistency as a traditional Belgian waffle. A lot of kitchen chemistry and experimentation went into getting the recipes for each of the baked goods that Erin sold just right, so that they were not only as good as the regular gluten goods offered at the grocery store, but much better. "I'm thinking of a pumpkin-based recipe," Erin told them, ignoring Cindy's jab and pretending she had asked in a nice way what Erin had in mind for the contest. "Pumpkin and spices, nutmeg and cinnamon, nice and light and crisp, but with a hearty, rich flavor. Something that will remind people of Thanksgiving and Christmas and all the good feelings surrounding those holidays, and could be used for sweet or savory toppings." I love pumpkin spice," Lottie confessed. "Anything pumpkin spice." She beamed at Erin as if she were a child who had just pulled off the perfect math score. "Great idea." "That sounds really good," Vic agreed. "Drizzled with a little syrup and topped with whipped cream." Someone else moaned in agreement. Erin smiled, pleased. Not everyone liked pumpkin spice or the idea of waffles that could be savory or sweet, so she was happy to hear the approvals of her plan. "I hope you win," Lottie said. "Then you can start including those waffles in your regular offerings." "What about chocolate chip waffles?" Cindy suggested. "Or blueberry?" "If she had that big waffle iron, she could make any kind you liked." Lottie licked her lips. "Blueberry or raspberry, cinnamon swirl, chocolate chip, white chocolate chip." "M&M?" Lottie took up the list of candies that could be added to the batter. "M&M?" Cindy repeated, sounding shocked. "If you could put them in cookies, why not in waffles? Or gumdrops?" All right, so there is a preview of A Waffle Death, book number 20 in the Auntie Clem's Bakery series. You can pick that up on my web store at any of the popular retailers. Or if you had it on pre-order or subscription, then it should already be in your inbox. If you want to get each of my books delivered to you monthly, head on over to my website and subscribe there. You can get them on release date or early release before they go out to the public. So check out those plans as well. All right, enjoy your reading.